Let me do due diligence and hit the record button. Awesome. Okay. Hopefully you can all see and hear me well. I am going to mute you all at this point, and let you unmute yourself as you would like to talk. However, I ask if you could raise your hand. So at the bottom, there should be some tools for you. If you click on Manage Participants, it will bring up a screen on your right-hand side. It gives me the option to vote yes or no. Under More, it gives me the option to thumbs up or down. By my name, I also have the option here to raise my hand. So that'll be a way to indicate to me that you would like to talk rather than us all talking over top of each other. As you'll be able to see, I'll continue just talking until I see someone let me know that they want to definitely pipe in there. Otherwise, housekeeping-wise, this is Zoom. Full disclosure, first time running a meeting other than this afternoon when I did a few test runs. So I'm hoping to catch the glitches here, hoping this works successfully, and this is a tool we can add to supplement to all of our future meetings. Before we move too much further on, I'm going to unmute us all here. I'd like to share my screen here for the flag. If we could all start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. We normally do, just because we're all in the presence of our own home. If you could all join me, please. Well, should we wait just a moment for Michael to stop laughing?
Oh, I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chef Geip, if you would.
For food, for raiment, for life, for opportunity, for friendship, for fellowship, we thank you, O Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. For mere sake of keeping consistency, I think we needed to continue with that. I do have the agenda here that I can also share with us. Forgive me for these pauses, but it will only get better. We have our agenda here. Okay, so to start off as an update, obviously with our meal, summer eating, enjoy, definitely. We are not being hosted tonight by Chef Beaver. I did communicate via email as well as I communicated with Chef Beaver today. This was by no means a hardship for him. I felt, if anything, he was trying to stay open, for our benefit. There was very little cost involved. He was able to use all the products that he had in order to, provide takeout meals for tonight. So he actually agreed and was happy to host our August meeting, which was the one meeting that we did not have secured. So we're back into that slot. He's anxious to do a really good educational component for that. So I think we're in good shape there. Otherwise, to actually officially call the meeting, I don't feel we've done this in a while, but I feel we need a motion to officially start our meeting and then continue forward.
So moved.
Second.
You? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Likewise. All right, we'll go ahead and officially start our meeting then with the approval of the minutes. I do have the minutes that I can pull up for us that were sent electronically. We'll stop share for a moment and find those.
I mean, we approve the minutes.
Thank you. A motion to approve the minutes, please. And we need a second then.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. All right, so instead of pulling those up, hopefully everybody did see the minutes were posted on our website as well as via email, sent out in PDF as well as the Word format. So we will continue to do that. Moving on, I have a treasurer's report. As the treasurer, I wanted to report overall, I did complete our taxes in regards to filing those. So those have been completed. and then our account balance. I have our total account balance of $9,277.94. That's split between a checking of $2,532 and some change, as well as in savings, a little over $6,700. We did get $75 in rebates this month, as well as we had spent just under $30 for supplies for the certificates and awards, as well as $12 on a security certificate for our website. Those are the expenses with a 54-cent interest also in our savings account. I will need a motion, please, to approve the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Erlong, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, great. We'll move right along. The next is I'm going to just make sure I'm not sharing the screen. You can all just see me, correct? Okay. Next, I want to move on for our president's message. We have really done a lot here, or I have done a lot in the last two weeks. As a board, we left our last meeting to find out, and as I've communicated with everyone, our president did need to step down, Chef Tim McGrath, in which case our board had discussed, and 2 weeks ago then, I have assumed the role of the president. I have done a lot in the meantime. I first started off with our social media, our website. I've gained full access and edited that. A little later on, we talk about social media. I'd like to pull it up and make sure everyone has seen the changes that we have there. Before, or I should say, at that point, once I took over the presidency role, I did contact the national office. I have gotten those changes made. I have updated, even including today, that our meeting now is being held remotely to make sure all that information is updated. I have looked at all of our local members and made sure that our email communication has been updated. Communication is really big for me, so hopefully you've seen I'm sending out emails. I want to make sure we're not just waiting for once a month. I want to make sure that I'm notifying everyone of important updates. Obviously this week I could have sent an important update. It seems like every other minute there, but I wanted to make sure that that was all up to date, as well as reaching out to our members that have not renewed in the last 2 years, I believe that report is. I have also really tried to build community and membership involvement, I should say membership involvement, in organizing and structuring different committees, which I'm happy to unveil here later on today. Definitely trying to build overall value. I want to get back to the education. I think handing out, I really like how Brian Pepley handed out our continuing education hour certificates. I looked in how to do that, and I want to get back to doing that in our future meetings when we have the educational components. Obviously, there's a lot we could talk about in our industry overall. I believe as of tonight, most restaurants are going to solely catering or delivering, or not catering, delivery or takeout options only. I know it's going to be a rough couple weeks. My husband, even as a hairstylist, they've completely closed for 2 weeks. Seems like everyone has. So I know it's going to be a tough time, but I thought it was important to still try and get together, go through some information, and make sure that we can still make an impact and be strong going into the next couple weeks to see how much we can help with everything. So with that, I just wanted to again welcome everyone. Thank you for your support. I am going to work hard. I'm up for the challenge. I'm looking to make sure our program, our chapter continues on strong with as much involvement as we can, and hopefully building to a stronger chapter here each month. I know Chef Long is on here. We will be hosting the ACF meeting in April, as long as the campus is back open. As of today, the campus classes will be held remotely, let me put it that way, until April 6th. So we will not be holding anything prior to that. As long as we get the go-ahead to resume classes, we'll be holding the meeting April 20th, I would imagine, with no problems, but we'll be in communication. An important update, though, we are planning to start early. We do want to start around 6 o'clock, start the education, have a good, long educational hands-on demonstration, allow everyone to work with the ice carving pieces. So we are going to start at 6, so the education can start at 6:15. we can still have a good lengthy meeting in there as well. Okay.
Autumn,
Yes.
I reached out to Ron Sabatini, one of our original members, and talked to him about coming back. He's just been busy, and he's had some health issues of late, so he was going to try to attend tonight, but I told him to just kind of blow it off, and then we canceled, of course. But what he did want to offer is a boatload of ice carving tools to bring to the meeting. And Tom, he also wanted to offer up assistance for the ice carving demonstration should it go through.
That'd be awesome.
Okay, I will connect the two of you via email, and you can start chit-chatting, and then he may be able to bring the tools. To whom they're going to go to is really amongst the schools. I would suggest that they could be a repository in some way, shape, or form, perhaps housed at HAC, and then anybody that needs them, maybe go get them at HAC and then just return them so they are at the will of the chapter to utilize.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So you're going to connect the two.
I will.
That's awesome. Okay. I think at this point, we looked and saw we had enough for maybe 4 or 5 students to be working on a nice piece at a time. So the more tools we have, the greater. Yes.
I'll ask him what his inventory is, and then Tom, I'll do all that in the same email, and then you can take it from there.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. The next item on our agenda was the awards, which I would prefer to table that until April so that I can actually present the awards in person with those awards. Forgive me, I don't want to give away with the awards. I'd like to just do that solely at the April meeting. So I'm going to table that item. I'd like to move on to old business then and start with the committees. And I am going to take a moment here to pull up this on my screen because I think this is important for us to see.
Autumn, while you're pulling that up, I have a question. Usually the treasurer and the president were the signatures on the signature cards for the checking account. Could that be a problem?
It could be, but I recall when the checking account was set up 3.5 years ago, every board member was listed on it.
Oh, good. All right.
Yes, and I believe we kept John on there too. I think it was just a matter of I had the primary, but that's something I need to look into. So let me make a note of that here too, just to make sure that there is someone else able to sign. Thank you. Okay, so here, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so here are some different committees that, again, I have reached out to some have expressed interest. So I thank everyone that's on this list and I'd like to go through one by one here. Starting at the top of the social media committee. This we had decided and discussed at the last meeting that I would chair. I am looking to have assistance with this and that I believe this will be too much for me to take on in addition now with the presidency. However, for continuity to continue strengthening, I would like to continue with the website. We have started the Facebook page. Hopefully you've been able to see that. The LinkedIn page that we've established as well. A lot of different social media sites that we have started. This is what our website looks like. I did make a lot of edits to it, and the more I worked within the shell we had, I realized the restrictions. So I chose a whole new format. I wanted it to look fresh and new. Now the top icons here, there are the top tabs. They have a lot of different tabs within them then. So if you look at culinary schools and you click on apprenticeship, I am still working on the speed here, but again, massively improved. Please tell me I actually clicked on it.
No.
Did it not look like I clicked on it? in any event, each of the different banners have different pictures on it. It is going excessively slow here.
Autumn, all we're seeing is the committees. We're not seeing the website. It's amazing. I looked at it quite a few times. There you go.
Oh, it looks great.
Okay. And that was the page I was trying to get to. Okay. So I was able to include different pictures. I have re-updated links. I have made sure to cut and paste a lot of the information from our main national site. There's a new link right here, education. That is empty right now, but yet we have so many resources within our site. Chef Geip and I were talking about these demos he used to do, and I said, oh, they're on there. They're all there for us to use. So I did start a new page here that we can include education, what we're doing each month. Again, how to become a member, what the perks are of being a member, all of our community involvement and pictures there, how we're in the news, all of our newsletters, our chapter awards. The event calendar still pretty much looks the same as just a big calendar, but at least, again, is updated regularly and has our information on it there. So again, new picture. This was something that the students just submitted, or that was just on Facebook not too long ago. We do have a LinkedIn page. Are you able to see my LinkedIn page?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Great. So this is our LinkedIn page for our chapter. I started it, and within, I think, an hour, Chef Geip was on it. I'm like, I'm not done yet. I did complete the About Us. If you can see as I scroll down, there's volunteer experience, things that we do, skills and endorsement, our interests. I'm trying to connect us to as much of our members as possible, in which case, same thing with Facebook. My overall approach is sharing our members' posts, trying definitely not to be biased, show any type of opinionated posts, but supporting all the events that we're doing and scholarships, and hopefully you've all seen a lot more activity in that. There can be more connections here. We're working on that. Any suggestions, any linking you can do, any sharing that you could do in general on our Facebook or LinkedIn will help just to get more traffic on the site overall. Okay, so that is our social media. And the Emily Schmidt and Hannah are also working with me on that. I know they are slowly getting into the Snapchat and the Twitter accounts, or Instagram, I should say. Renee Nasta has also agreed and joined our committee and has the rights to post on Facebook there as well. Okay. Our next committee here is the competitions committee. Thank you to Chef Notter for being willing to chair that committee. I really think we have a lot of, I've said this to a lot of us, star power and so much mentorship that we can offer in this chapter, and I think it's great. If Faith Brenneman, does get accepted to compete for Student of the Year, I think your expertise would be awesome to lend to her. I think we all have a lot to offer these students, but again, to have someone they know they can go to that has competed in a lot of competitions, and we're really excited to hear about the Culinary Olympics here in a few minutes. So thank you, Chef. Appreciate that. Chef Reese is not here, but he has agreed to chair the Budget, Finance, and Fundraising Committee, along with Chef Geip, Chef Herentz, and Chef Roba. Thank you all. This committee is really the idea of looking at the overall financial state of our chapter and how we can do valuable events to fundraise money that we can also sponsor and do events that we want to do. So overall, I think that works really well with the different community involvement and other things that you're involved with. I know you guys had already initially met, and now you're, a year or so ago, I believe, now to regroup and kind of, start in a fresh direction there. Chef, or with any subcommittees then, any fundraising events, So Chef Blythe, I have you listed there for PA Flavor. We'll look for an update here shortly on that as well. The accreditation committee, Chef Peffley is not with us, but he has agreed to chair that committee. Again, if the school is going through a reaccreditation, an initial accreditation, I really think it's great to have that mentorship and have someone, walk you through just an extra link directly to ask your questions. Chef Heron still is a certification committee chair. Thank you for that. Community involvement, this wasn't necessarily a formed committee before. Otherwise, we had individual committees. So as an overall umbrella, Chef Geip and Chef Roebuck, thank you for taking this on. I realize you have a lot of these subcommittees in your leadership as well. Faith Brenneman has joined Chef Roebuck on the Ronald McDonald House Committee. Excuse me, Chef Geip with the Shalom Food Service. We have the food bank with Chef Roebuck, Eddie Howard with PRLA. And Chef Geip, you had given me direction for skills. You said you would
skills.
For the year?
Skills ID does nothing to do with that. That's I did the culinary, and Sharon did the arts, and Chef Michael Heron said did the food service part too. So actually, our chapter has to do with 3 different skills, in which on the 16th of April it was just canceled. So for this year we won't have a skills USA competition. So, but for next year we'll determine who's doing what, and we'll update you for sure.
Okay. All right, and then okay. Yeah, there's so many things that are just up in the air right now, but I guess we'll see as we get there. Okay. Just to continue on with the committee listing here, thank you for Chef Long joining Chef Roebuck on the AAC committee for reports there. And I know Chef Roebuck is looking to recruit new members. There is a list of 22 criteria, of which I believe you need to be eligible for 10 or 12 of those. I know I can give you more direction on that, but the list, I do believe we have a few that qualify for that. So I know we can sponsor, I believe you said, 2 different chefs each year. So I know that's something he'll be looking to start working on in the near future. I'm excited. Junior membership, Faith Brenneman has agreed and stepped up for the leadership on that, with the idea of reaching out to different vocational schools or accredited schools and really trying to express what we have to offer, and hopefully recruiting some of those members, as well as how to get them in and really, I'm looking at the junior membership as a student membership, which would also include the apprentices, even though they're represented specifically on our board as well. We have the apprenticeship committee, which naturally Chef Kroll is chairing, and I'm hoping Chef Arnold from the hotel as well. I have not confirmed Chef Arnold, but Chef Kroll has confirmed. And then Renee Nasta is leading up our membership outreach, and I'm going to use her as an example. She said, great, let me know how I can help and what I can do. That's a great question. There's a lot I think we can do with this. But again, I think kind of building from the inside out here, getting stronger, knowing what we're promoting, what we're trying to have others join us, I think is our first step in really analyzing what we have to offer there. So this is what our committees are looking like, which again, I'm excited it spans out over a large variety. It includes a large number of our members here. Okay, so next on our agenda, I specifically wanted to talk about, I included our social media already. I did want to go to the Culinary Olympics, and Chef Nodder was going to allow me to drink some coffee, as well as go over some information pictures. She has a nice slideshow. Let's see if you can see it. How about that? Can everyone see okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to mute. I don't know if I can mute myself, but Jeff, if you could take it from there, I'll scroll when you direct me to.
Okay, you'll click. Okay. So, first of all, I'm really glad the competition is last month. Because if it was this month, we would be in trouble, I think. We would be either coming back and in quarantine and not be able to do anything or see anybody. But I just New Mexico last week and had the chance to go to an ACF meeting in Santa Fe. So we were able to present this PowerPoint quickly to the chefs in Santa Fe as well. So the team, we were all from the East Coast. As you know, we were a regional team. So we had 4 chefs. I was the pastry chef. We had a couple of sous chefs, and then Chef Raymond Hofmeister was our team coach and manager for the team. I only joined them in October, but they had been together for Luxembourg, and then kind of Chef Hofmeister took over, so they formed the regional team for the USA as a splitter team, kind of, as opposed to the national team. So you can click to the next slide. So our program for the regional teams was 4 finger foods, 3 appetizer plates, 5-course menu, the platter, 4 plated desserts, 4 petit fours or chocolates, and then we did the showpiece for the table, which actually was not judged, but just made the table look nicer. So the national teams now are actually doing the Restaurant of the Nations for 110, and then they're also doing tableside service for 12 judges, different courses. So now the cold food displays are really done by the regional teams and also by the individual entries. And then every day was also individual showpieces. Every day changed over 5 days. It was pretty amazing to see all the work. A lot of showpieces, international. I mean, a lot of pastillage. Russia and Turkey have very traditional styles of working, but beautiful, very, very intricate and labor intensive. And then also there was a whole group from Taiwan that bought sugar pieces in every day. So that was pretty amazing to see what they did every day. The standard of the regional teams or all the team tables was pretty high. And I think maybe because the national teams aren't doing the cold displays anymore, I think you'll see almost like a subdivision of the national teams doing the cold work as well in the future. So very high standard. We exhibited on the first day. So we flew over, landed on Wednesday, set up the kitchen, worked all day Thursday. And then Friday morning from 8 o'clock in the morning till the following day at 5 a.m. and we left for the exhibition hall. We actually ended, because then the chefs, after we did our program, the individual chefs did their programs, individual programs, 2 days later and 3 days later. So it was 3 sessions of 24-hour work periods in the kitchen. But we had a great kitchen to work in. It was a big catering company. They had glass freezers, walk-in coolers, walk-in freezers. I mean, we had a whole section of where we could work. They were great. Really, really, I think hopefully, actually the national team, I don't think had as good a kitchen as we did. They came over to borrow stuff. I think we built a good relationship to this catering company. They also own a couple of hotels. So in their hotel, actually, there was the team from Holland was actually, the national team from Holland was actually working at the hotel. And we were staying in the hotel and working in the catering company. So it worked out really well. So I think for future teams, it's maybe a good place to go. Everything is there needed. Okay, you go to the next one. Chef Robert Marilla, he's in Charlotte, and he did the 4 finger foods. There is a weight limit on these. I'm not exactly sure what it is on the finger foods. I know it for the pastry. But he did 4 different types of the little chicken there in the nest, and then down to the mushrooms. The strawberries were filled with a foie gras mousse, and then with a strawberry glaze. And all those little seeds were put on individually by the apprentice. I think each strawberry had 50 of them. Little sesame. Oh my. Spent a long time doing that. Very tedious work. And then there was a little snail as well. So you do 6 pieces of each, and then also a display of 1 of each that then the judges cut into. They don't taste it, but they want to see that it's obviously real and you do things on the inside. So Beautiful, very clean, and very appealing work. We were there for the critique. They said, and I'll tell you what the critique was as well from the individual program. So they said on the snail that they felt that the insert could have been a little bit finer and maybe a little bit more detailed on the inside of that, but they liked the concept. They love the strawberries and they love the mushrooms. You'll see a picture afterwards with a piece cut. And then on the little chicken on the left, it's tricky to get those little nests all exactly the same, you know, so they did say something about that. And also they felt that the mousse was maybe a little bit coarse on the inside. They would have liked to have seen a little bit finer, maybe a little bit more detail on that one. But overall, the critique was very brief. So when I go to the next slide, you'll see, so you can see here how they're cut open. So there's a piece cut out of the strawberry, and then with the mushroom was really cool. I mean, it was so cool on the outside, but it was really intricate on the inside as well. So you want to show all that detail. And when we're at the table, you know, a lot of the other teams come around and look. So got a lot of really great feedback about the finger foods from the other teams. Okay, go to the next one. And then Chef Joe, he's in the Washington, D.C. Joe works together with Rich Rosendale. And he's part owner of the restaurant Roots, and does a lot of events with Rich as well. He did 3 appetizer plates, so it was 2 cold and 1 hot. I think each one could not, like the food element could not weigh more than 120 grams. And again, the judges really liked this one. The one on the right, you can't really see, it has like a white creamy sauce and like a spiral on it. Very simple plates, but lots of nice, like, you know, the layout and inserts and things like that. The cracker, the piping on the plate was all very nice. So very clean, simplistic, but really, really clean. And then if you go to the next one, Patty, that was the hot. This was like a pasta that was filled. And the critique on this one, the judges said it was just a little bit too much on the plate. They felt that there was a lot going on. I mean, it was beautiful. I think hot food served cold is one of the hardest programs to do because it has to look appetizing. So everything has to look like it's really well seasoned and you have flavorful sauces. And even though they're not tasting anything, it really just has to look very, very clean and very appealing. You know, a lot of the chefs actually took pieces already done. Fortunately, you know, because of going on the first day, everything held actually really well. And of course, then, you know, you get all the different vegetables ready and you know, everything is glazed and aspect, and you only assign like 1 or 2 people to do all the glazing that are really good at that, and then the cleaning and everything as well. So chefs were great in like helping me as well as a pastry with that part of the program too. But then I did all their desserts as well. So it goes hand in hand, but it was fun to work with them all. Okay. The 5-course menu, Chef Eric Yeager did that. It's a 5-course. Obviously, portion size is really important, how the menu progresses. And that's something that they really look for. They wanted to see a distinction between the portion sizes to really know what's what. So if we start on the left-hand side, this was like a compressed octopus salad. And he had like a little squid, like the sauce and everything with the black and, you know, like fresh vegetables and the tomatoes. I think the tomatoes he like reconstructed. So it wasn't actually a real tomato, but he made it look like a real tomato. And then in the middle, there's a quail dish here. And then the entree course would be the tenderloin with the vegetables, which is on the right-hand side. And Eric did a nice job. I mean, the judges had very little to critique on this. They felt that it was really balanced and, you know, nice colors and very flavorful as well. Nice flow on the plate, nice arrangements. Okay, you go to the next one. And then he had a salad course, dried fruit, and then this was a dessert. So his theme was Maryland. And so when I kind of researched, okay, what fruit is in season, you know, in Maryland, it was a lot of berries. So I did a little shortbread underneath, and then a honey vanilla mousse, which had a strawberry glaze, and that little chocolate pipe collar on it. And then fresh berries. There's a little patifree. It has that honeycomb pattern. So I actually have a honeycomb silicone mold, which I can spread the patifree on, and it really peels out super thin. And then a little blueberry diplomat sphere, meringues. So I just wanted to look simple and in proportion to everything else, but then appetizing as well. So that was my goal with that dessert. Okay. So the platter. So Chef Stephen Bush, he's in Naples, Florida, and he did the platter. So, you know, obviously you can see all the main pieces of the different, you know, the terrines. On this, they're looking, you know, slicing, color. One of our last practices was in Pittsburgh at Westmoreland Community College, and we have had Chef Keith Coganauer come to the practice and critique the platter. Initially, he'd arranged like the orange little garnishes, which are on the right-hand side of the platter. They were at a different point, but after, like, you get fresh eyes looking on something that's like, okay, you know, you need to mix up the colors, or they need to be in a different place to break up the coloration of everything. But then, you know, working with like the pears, and they're all carved and everything else like that. So the judges really liked the platter. I think the only thing was the terrine in the middle. I think actually they ended up glazing it like 3 or 4 times, and it turned it in the end a little gray in color. And then, so that was, the coloration was a little bit of a critique, but they liked the layout and everything else. And then on the right, there's a salad, you know, a salad that goes with it. That looked very fresh and very appetizing to go with the platter. You can go to the next slide because there's some more pictures of this as well. And so on the left, you can see in the background the menu. So we had a sponsor for plates, and we actually had the menus printed on the plates together with the ACF logo. And then the region of the US, the food and everything is featured from. So this is Florida. And then there's little serving dishes with accompaniments on the side. And then you do one plate from the platter. So the judges would see, well, how would you present that if it was plated? They said there probably needed just to be 1 slice of the one terrine and not 2. And they also said to spread everything out a little bit more. The plate looked kind of cluttered. So they would have recommended just to like space it out a little bit more on that. But otherwise, there was not a lot of negative feedback about that. Okay. The desserts, because we were doing East Coast, so the one on the left is New York apple. So it was an apple mousse that I did in a sphere and then carved it like an apple, painted it with a brush, and then glazed it with a very kind of pale green, shiny glaze. The insert is apple and blackberry, and there's a piece on this in the front that's the insert that's cut out of it. And next to it, it looks like an apple slice. It's actually a cookie that I made. So I rolled it out really thinly and baked it. And there's one on the top and one on the bottom. And it's sandwiched together with a little bit of cream. But it has the cutouts, like the eyelets of the apple, if you were to cut the apple. And then there's a cheesecake with an apple insert. And then to go with that, it's a blackberry sauce together with candied walnuts, blackberries, and there's some like walnut streusel on the plate as well. That's the one on the left. The desserts, you have to have one with fruit, one with chocolate, and the other's just free choice. So the one on the right, I did Maine, this was my chocolate one. So this was Maine blueberry and white chocolate. So the sphere is white chocolate mousse, and it's sprayed frozen with a white chocolate spray. And then in front of that is a little blueberry diplomat sphere. And then the chocolate in front is a milk chocolate parfait with cocoa nibs around it. And then on the plate is also a blueberry compote, which is molded, which is towards the back of the piece. And I had chocolate streusel, and then obviously, you know, fresh blueberries, some micro sponge, and a blueberry coulis on the plate. Okay. The one on the left is key lime. So I had, it's like key lime pie. But the cracker I did on the plate. So that's the sphere, which is the disc that's cut out. So the key lime kind of feeds into that. I did gianduja and a croquantine as the disc and rolled it out really thinly between silpats and chilled it and then cut it out. The lime in the front is blown sugar, and it has lime curd piped into it. And then there's like lime powder. So I took Maltosep and processed it in the Roboku with lime oil and white chocolate, and it makes like this like coarse crumble, which is on the plate, and then lime sauce and zest and some more meringues and things for texture on there. And then the one on the right-hand side is Georgia peach and raspberry. So I have glazed torch peaches, which is towards the left of the piece, and then a peach cremo layered, and underneath that is a raspberry cremo. Then there's a white chocolate curve there, which kind of takes the flow of the plate. And then a peach patafouille on the plate, and then it's chocolate piping with some little flowers in the middle there, and a raspberry ice cream. The feedback I got from this plate was because you know the ice cream, you can't use regular ice cream, right, because it would melt. So I colored fondant to make it kind of look like a marbled raspberry ice cream. The judge said it looked too fake. Well, right, but I can't take ice cream, and I could take mashed potato, but it tends to look a little grayish. So, and then the other feedback I got on the chocolate dessert is was everything was molded. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I mean, there's things that you just see afterwards, you know. But I've had a lot of nice feedback about the desserts, especially the peach one. So you can see on the chocolate one, and maybe I probably should have quenelled the parfait, the frozen parfait, instead of molding it. But yeah, he was right. It was all molded. I always thought it looked very, I don't know, geometric and very clean. And I really liked the fact that it had that look. And what I also tried to do is make every plate like standalone. So nothing was replicated, and the style wasn't really replicated either. So that's what I tried to do. So you want to go to the next one? So this was the Petit four display. I did all chocolates. The weight had to be between 6 and 14 grams for each one. So I did weigh every one of them. If you want to go to the next, and each one had a little showpiece behind it. So this is a close-up of them. So if I go from the left, I have a little cocoa pod. The little outside shells are hollow. The first time I did it, I actually filled them, but my weight was too much. So I just did them hollow. And I used a lot of, colored cocoa butter inside my molds to get that coloration. It's like a copper red tone. And then the pod in the middle has a jelly made with the juice from the cocoa around the cocoa pods. There's a juice that's also extracted. So it has the jelly in that. So I wanted everything like cocoa. The base, it looks kind of granule, but what I did is I mixed sugar into the tempered couverture, molded it in a little barquette mold. And then when it pops out, you kind of shave the surface off using like something you'd use in wood, like a planer, and it reveals the crystals. So it looks like granite. And then I've got cocoa nibs on top of that. The next one is a little stone, I call it stone garden. And that has a filling of, in the actual top shell, it has a pistachio filling with some orange. And then in the bottom, there's a cherry jelly in the bottom of that. It was, I mean, to get all those little shoots in exactly the same by all of them, it was tricky. After about like 6, you could figure it out, you know. You lay them down and then you put them together first, and with tweezers, put them in, and drives you nuts. So the feedback I got on this one is that there was too much white chocolate. And I'm thinking, it weighed 11 grams, but you can't say anything, you know, it's like, okay, yes, chef. But in my eyes, okay, it's 11 grams of white chocolate. It's not too much, you know, but that's okay. And I painted, you know, obviously I wanted it to look like a garden, so that's why it's greens and yellows and some little flowers. The third one along, I call that an egg cup. So these are like little eggshells. Feltlin actually makes and designs molds as well. So this was a brand new one that was out. So I piped the shells first, and then, you know, used the cocoa butter colors, and then put that. So this one is blueberry and lemon. So it has the blueberry cream filling in the lower part of the shell, and the little yellow shell is filled with the lemon. And then to get that little nest look around the top, I took a block of a frozen sheet pan, and you pipe really, really quick little circles on it, and then you lift it up and you place it down. It's super fine and like string. And then I brushed it with a little bit of a gold luster as well to kind of highlight it. So that was my little egg. And I actually made the sugar showpiece for that was a little chicken. And then on the other one, the last one to the right, this is a raspberry patafouille. So I made a patafouille and filled it in a tub, cut it out with a piping tip. So I had the length I needed, wrapped it in that honeycomb patafouille mold. And then it's got like a raspberry cream underneath. And of course the chocolate is made with a comb. So like I said, the weight was between 6 and 14 grams. I would say probably the average was about 11 grams. The judge said they were a little bit tall. So I'm like, okay. They were tiny, you know. It's like, but those were the so those are the Petit, you know, like Petit Fours chocolates. But again, I wanted you can't just take a molded or, you know, a truffle. You have to do something that's more intricate and shows skill and detail with each one of them. But everyone was completely edible, you know, like you could eat everything that was there. Do you want to go to the next slide? So this was the sugar showpiece. This was not judged. This was just for the table. And again, so of course, East Coast. So flamingos at the top, and then down into the lobster and the crab and flowers. So I was pretty happy with the flamingo. I think it's a really cool piece. I'd like to try and do it maybe out of chocolate as well at some point. So the neck and the head is blown in one piece, and then all the pieces were transported over to Germany. So I had this was in my carry-on roller bag, this thing. So then the neck and the body and the wings were all separate, packed really delicately, and so they couldn't move. And then all the pieces like the lobster, the body, the claws and everything were all separate. So that was like one suitcase, and then all the tubing is clear. So it's like vinyl tubing that you cast the isomalt into. So I had all those pieces in another suitcase, and I gave it to Chef Hofmeister's wife, Carla, carry on. So we had one carry-on with all the cast sugar and one carry-on with the pulled and blown, and it made it. Surprisingly, everything was packed so it could not move. I airbrushed the pieces. So the structure is isomalt because it's really, really clear, but all the blown and pulled pieces were all sugar. And I'd colored like the lobster and the crab are blown with like an opaque sugar. So it gives you a really nice like canvas to paint on and do the airbrushing on. It was a beast to put together. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm assembling this thing. And it had rained, so the air was fairly humid. And of course, with it being sugar, it will always shine, but it gets sticky, and then I've got the layer of color in between. And so I had to like put a piece on, leave it, and then step away and do something else and keep going back to it. And then we transported it like this. I would have liked, there's a flower on the bottom. I would have liked to have put that on the top next to the flamingo's head, but by the time we got into the exhibition hall, and because it was the first day, like nobody really knew where they were going. So I'd recommend any future competitions that somebody goes out and does that, scouts out the easiest, best way to get to the exhibition hall, because these are massive halls as well, to get to the best entrance. So by the time we got to the table, we could get in at 5 and we had to be done by 7. So by the time we got everything to the table, it was already 6. So that was an hour. And then you start to set up. So, you know, I just kind of got the showpiece the way, okay, looks fine. And I need to focus on finishing the food because that was what was judged. It would have been nice to have a little bit more time to get the flour on where I wanted it. But in the end, like only I knew that, right? So at the end of the day, we dismantled and I actually took the flamingo back to my hotel room. And then on the last day we were at the hotel, I was able to actually take it downstairs and add all the ribbons and the flowers on where I wanted them to be. And we left it at the hotel in the dining room. So the award ceremony for the regional teams and individual entries was every day. So they had a nice award ceremony and announced everything in multiple languages. And we got a gold medal for the regional team, which we were super happy about. And then every day, new teams exhibited, and there were some pretty strong teams. I mean, we would go back every day and look, and as our own chefs exhibited, we were able to see what everybody else was doing. And so at the award ceremony in the morning, they were doing all the individual, like the medals for the national teams, which took quite a while. And the stadium seating was really packed. We were upstairs kind of watching from the balcony down. And then they resumed like in the after, at 1 o'clock, said, we're going to now announce like, first, second, third place in all the categories that had competed. So national teams, regional teams, individual entries and everything else. And, I said to the other team members, I'm like, there was a lot of other really great teams. So don't get your hopes up too much because I don't think we're under the top 3, judging by what had come afterwards. And so in the afternoon, we said, okay, there's some empty seating. Let's go sit down in the stadium where everybody else was. And like, okay, does anybody have hats? Oh yeah, we got hats. I'm like, we won't need hats. We're not going up on stage. We won't need any hats. And then they announced like the regional teams and they said third place, ACF Regional Team USA. We were like flabbergasted. I mean, really surprised, but it was great to place under the top 3. So we got another nice bronze medal and another nice exhibition plate. And hold on one sec, I'll get it.
That was really awesome. I don't know about the rest of you, and I know a lot of you are muted here. I'm going to unmute all. That was amazing. Congratulations to you, Chef, definitely.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That was nice. And then this was the third place medal for the bronze medal for the regional teams. And then this is the gold medal for winning, gold medal on the regional teams as well. So we were obviously very pleased.
Wow.
Yes, congratulations.
Amazing.
Congratulations. Awesome.
For everybody who didn't follow them on Facebook or Instagram or any of the other social media things during the competitions, it was amazing. I've done that in years past, but this year particularly, your showpiece that we're looking at right now, Susan, was just phenomenal. The comments from all around the world, I had to push, translate, 15, 20 times in one evening that it was shown. It was amazing. And just everyone with kudos, and it's fantastic. It's probably one that I've seen you do lots and lots of things. That rocks. It really does.
I was really happy how it turned out, and now I see flamingos everywhere. I would like to kind of do the piece again and really get it the way that I, wanted it to be at the show as well. So maybe now being on lockdown for 2 weeks, I'll build a showpiece.
That's crazy. Congratulations again. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Awesome. I'm so excited. And again, I recorded this, so I'm going to encourage others to really get that good overview. Are you okay with me uploading this PowerPoint onto our website also?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, please. Thank you. That would be great. Awesome. Okay. Anything else to share there, Chef? Again, congratulations to you.
I did put a lot of pictures on my Facebook page about how it was made as well. So steps, you know, with the structure and things like that. So I think it's always interesting to see how it looks before anything gets on it, because I think the structure is one of the hardest parts to kind of figure out. Like, you know, that's the base for everything. And it's always looking at, okay, what's my negative space? What's my positive space? And, you know, how do you make something, be able to look all the way around it and see something going on? So it's not just one dimensional as a piece. And that kind of interesting to me.
Oh, absolutely. I'll stalk your Facebook page. I'll save all those pictures now that you said that's okay, and then I'll upload it to ours. And
yeah, problem.
Okay, I might recruit your help with putting something together, but I think that would be great to be able to. Like I said, a lot of students I think would look at this and say, I could never do that. I mean, I see. Yeah, that's great.
It's all no, like, yeah, you know, say you're gonna do something over and over and over and over again until it gets right. That's what it takes.
Great, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chef.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Great. I'm going to continue on here. If I could bring back up our agenda. The next item is a couple committee items here. I have here we go. Let's see if I can show. Are you able to see my screen here?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So this NASA and Hunch competition that I know Chef Roebuck, Chef Skype were a part of, I know that is something Chef Peffley is excited to share and report on. So I am going to table that to April so that he can report on that. And there are some pictures that we shared both on our website as well as the Facebook pages as well, or Facebook page as well. Chef Roebuck, are you still with us to report on Ronald McDonald House?
Yes, I just wanted to, I know she's not on the call, but thank Chef Claire Dacco from Dauphin County. They took care of March. I am going to be having to make some phone calls for April. So that's the latest on Ronald McDonald House. So,
Chef, if the state lockdown is for 2 weeks, I mean, that'll take us right up to April. I'm going to call the lady tomorrow and make sure they are, in fact, open. Explain to her, you know, we had the reason for the conference call tonight, and make sure that they are, in fact, going to be open, and I can easily let you know. Okay. At least, I mean, the first weekend in April would be the 4th, or the 3rd is that Friday, the 4th is? Correct. Saturday. Correct. Okay. So I will check with the lady tomorrow down there at the house.
I could be available.
Hey, Chef Roebuck.
Yes.
This is Doogie. Hey, I just got a whole thing on Herco, and really all of the properties are pretty much shut down. It is my understanding that presently I don't think that they're going to be able to accept any food from an outside source at the house, knowing what's going on at the med center right now due to my wife working there. So you may want to check to see if they'll even accept the donation.
All right, I can check on that in the morning.
All right, thanks.
Thank you for that information.
Okay, great. So then we will do a reach out to see definitely to get someone involved for April once we know what's going on. I have a feeling, I know at least from HAC standpoint, we are not going to be, I should say, reopening, welcoming students back at the very earliest. April 6th would be again our date there. So I know that falls right into that. Perhaps if we can't do it the first weekend, Chef, maybe we can pick it up the 2nd or the 3rd weekend. So we're still contributing the month of April. Most of the time, those weekends are filled, but again, I can check on that. Okay. Most of the weekends go pretty quick. Great. All right, thank you, Chef. Anything while we have you on the food bank? Any updates, any information there? Nothing really new. There was an article in Sunday's Patriot News. They're really, really busy handing out food to people that are
having a rough time of it right now. All my events have been canceled. I probably will not be back at the food bank until well into April. So that's about the only thing from the food bank.
Okay, and that's including the chopped competition, correct?
That has been canceled. Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Thank you. Chef Guy, the celebration of life for Chef Stahl-Smith, I just didn't know if you wanted to update anyone, any more information, anything that you need on that.
I've talked to a couple of the key players, and I think we're in good shape. I will next meeting. I will have a complete rundown, plus information. Once again, everyone's more welcome to come out to this thing. It's just going to be just a gathering, a picnic, if you will. And if you know Bill's family, they're a fun-loving group, so I'm sure it will be a good time and literally a celebration of life. That's the way Bill wanted it. I'm sure that will happen. Awesome.
Thank you, Chef, again for organizing that. Chef Blythe, I know you were going to have a meeting on PA Flavor that got postponed. Any information you can give us with that?
Well, ticket sales were almost double for the VIP. That's why I needed to meet at the arena. It has been postponed till August or later, as of this morning.
Okay, so confirmation it is postponed.
Yep, to August or later are the exact words.
Okay, are they going, when are they planning to make that announcement? Did they?
Here this morning, it's postponed till August. I don't know. Oh, maybe on Facebook, I don't know. She told me this morning.
Okay, I saw them report just this morning they had another participant or another entry, and that's what I was saying. It looked like they were still promoting it this morning. Okay, good. I'll look for that and I'll share that, but that's a definite. So postponed to August. I think fall's going to become very busy.
That was best case was August.
So that definitely impacts us, and that that's a huge chunk of money that we receive each year for participating in that. And although if it's still going on, it's just offsetting that. Typically, we receive that. It's usually like May or June, so that'll still hopefully still be contributed, but it definitely will be later on in the year. Well, thank you, Chef, for the update there.
You're welcome.
Maybe Academy of Chefs. Chef Roebuck, anything? I believe you said you did not have anything.
The only change, of course, with the rescheduling of Chef Connect Nashville, the Academy dinner will be now on October the 28th of 2020, with them canceling this month's event.
Okay, and hopefully everyone has seen the emails, all of the media going out about that event being, or the Chef Connect being postponed, and how to go about getting your refund or applying money to the national convention. If there's questions, let me know. Again, things like that, I feel we can communicate right away rather than waiting for our meeting. So hopefully everybody saw that. Okay, next I left a spot here for the student members forum, so to say. I'd like to hear from our students each time. I know on the phone we have Sebastian but I don't believe he's connected through audio. We also had Terry at some point. Renee, Anna, I realize you both have other roles as well, but any updates? Any perspectives from a student view as to what's going on? What in the world are we gonna, how in the world are we gonna continue our education? How are you guys feeling?
I don't know.
Anyway.
It's crazy right now. You can't even do any of your just scheduling to do your, not ops, but your
internship.
ops are canceled for right now.
Yes, I'm quite aware of that.
Yeah.
I have a little responsibility in that too, but yes.
Ships are pretty much non-existent right now.
Yeah, I'm sure it's tough, and I saw Sebastian too kind of waving. Definitely for the students online, no, I'm working on it. We're all working on it. We're trying to deliver the best education And it's possibly 2 weeks, it's possibly longer. So, you know, from our stance, no hands-on classes are going to be done at home. That's not, if you go to the grocery store, you're lucky to find a square of toilet paper, let alone, seems like any food products. I mean, just light brown sugar. My husband went the other day, he's like, nope, no brown sugar. I mean, no matter what you're going for. So we're going to bring students back. We're going to hit labs hard later on, whether we have to schedule them in the summer. The ops classes, we're going to focus, you know, and just try to refine everything and condense. But in the meantime, we're going to deliver a lot of lecture. This is something, this Zoom conference, which Chef Geip and I were talking about earlier, this is something that would be a great part of every meeting. Everyone could join in no matter where they're at. This is one of those mediums we're going to be using as instructors. But we'll reach out. In the meantime, the intentions is everyone to have the week off, student-wise, catch up, get the rest of your world, you know, situated so that way you can jump online there. Anything else from the students' perspective? Any other old business that we'd like to share?
Nope.
Okay. Then I'd like to move on to the new business. Chef Geip, you had asked for an agenda item of a business item.
Yes, I'd like to ask that we, and we could go about this a couple of different ways. If no one has any objections, I'm just going to bring it forth as a motion. I'd like to, since we haven't seen our it's not our immediate past president, our Chef Mills hasn't attended anything. So I think in lieu of not, without his participation in what we're doing now, we need someone to act in the office of chairman of the board. So I would like to nominate, or actually would like to suggest that we fill that interim spot with Chef Peffley. And I have talked with him and he has agreed to it. I just think I know that Autumn, you have a good working relationship with him. I think he would be a good mentor to you. He's been down the road before. So I just think that would be a good move on our part.
I agree. I definitely, I didn't quite know how to approach that situation because yes, I think our board definitely needs a little extra guidance, and I think everybody's so welcoming and supporting me and helping, but it would be nice to officially have someone else. He has the roles. I say just for motions, or just for the sake of with the minutes, that we do make a motion and make sure that all are in favor. I definitely support that myself as well.
You want to get a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. All those opposed, please say, or sorry, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Does anyone have discussion? I would ask for discussion also, since
Thank
this is
you.
something a little different.
Yes. Does anyone have discussion on that?
Yes. Who's going to notify him that this is taking place?
Well, it sounded as though Chef had already asked him for it, so I was going to send him an email thanking him, and you know, letting him know that I definitely want to take him up on that.
Okay. As long as there's follow-up.
Yes, thank you. Making my note as I speak. Thank you very much for that suggestion, that motion. I appreciate that, Chef Geip. We definitely.
Let's call for the vote now, since we just discussed it. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Okay. So, any other discussion? All right, then all those in favor, the motion again is to have Brian Peffley fill the role, take on as the chairman of the board for our chapter for the remainder of the year here. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed, say nay. Okay, likewise. We'll go ahead and pass that. Thank you. All right, as we move on then, the next item here, which I believe I would like to discuss more at our next meeting, but just to prelude and to mention Anna for the education. And I do not feel like the education committee was on the committee list. I missed that. Anna has taken on, thank you, Anna, the leadership role of our education committee. I've also asked Chef Geip to take on a mentoring role with her as well. Really organizing, coordinating, making sure our educational components are solid, they are valuable, they're organized. I have a lot of materials to present tonight, but I also want the follow-up with our the continuing education hour certificates. So this would be something that falls in line, and I think maybe Susan, you could talk also with Anna in the chocolate demonstration class that you had offered. I know you had mentioned wanting to get the students involved with that, maybe hands-on. I think that's a better conversation for April when there are more involved to see how that could work out best. Sounds like if you're thinking more hands-on, that might not be an educational component for a meeting as much as if we did a demonstration, we could incorporate that. And I like the idea of students and all of us getting to see it as well. So it's a conversation I think maybe that we'll have in April, but just so that everyone's thinking about it and we're starting to develop thoughts as to how that'll come about. So thank you, Chef, for the offer for that. Chef Kipe, you had mentioned a cooking school class coming together at the Camp Hill Giant. Is that on hold now with everything?
Chef Roebuck can speak on that. Go ahead, Bob.
Yes, that is on hold at the present time. We're still looking at the end of May. However, I have not talked to Shana Schultz. I talked to her last week. As of right now, we have a date for late in May, but that's before all this sickness has broken out. So I'm not real sure at this point if that's going to still be a date, because the construction at the Camp Hill Giant has been pushed back to the month of June. So I'm going to have to keep in touch with her as to what the situation is there at the Camp Hill Giant.
Okay, but as of now, our meeting is still scheduled at May for her to host.
Correct.
And provide the
Correct.
Yeah, okay. I have not heard otherwise either, so good. Okay. Okay, anything else for new business items? I did have the ACF National Convention listed here to approach, as well as with the the Nashville Chef Connect relocation or rescheduling. Was there anything else anyone wanted to bring to the floor for new business? Okay. And before we call for a motion to adjourn for the night, I just wanted to remind you, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, there will be multiple emails that go out, Facebook posts, LinkedIn messages, events started to express that we are having our meeting in April, again, starting at 6 p.m. I do not have the date listed here. It's the third Monday. I'll communicate that as well. That would be April 20th, again, as long as the world is all well again, which seems to be very questionable every day. All right. Anything else anyone would like to add to the meeting?
Yeah, I would definitely like to thank you, Autumn, for the time and effort that you and your team have put together to get things back in line and be just thing dumped in your lap. And I think you're an all-star. You're making it happen. So I congratulate you, and I know everyone who I spoke to thinks you're doing an excellent job. And if you weren't, we would tell you. It's simple as that. So.
Trust me, I know. I know that very well. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I do think this is a challenge, but I am up for it. And I have a lot riding on this. I look at everyone standing here. I look at all of my students. There's a lot to be done. And I appreciate all the support for it. So thank you all. Okay. With that, if anyone doesn't have anything else to add, I'll look for a motion to adjourn then.
Motion moved.
Okay. Second, I heard as well. All right. All those.
Zoom away.
What is that? Stay away?
Zoom away. The new world.
Yeah. That will be my life here shortly. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
God safe, be safe.
Yeah.
Good night.